What up, people? This is the fourth part in an ongoing series showcasing some of the hidden gems available on the Nintendo Switch. If you haven't seen parts 1, 2, or 3, links to the playlist will be in the description below or in the comments section. If there's a game you think I'm missing, I might have already talked about it in one of those videos, so check them out afterwards. If you're new to the channel, I mostly make videos about single player games with a heavy focus on RPGs. But like always, because I want to help as many people find something new to play as possible, I make sure to include many different genres of games on this particular list. If you end up enjoying this video, hit that like button to help the algorithm spread this video around. So, with all the formalities out of the way, here are 10 must-buy hidden gems for the Nintendo Switch, Part 4. Starting off the list, we have Blue Fire. Journey through this desolated kingdom of Penumbra and discover the hidden secrets of this long-forgotten land. Explore mystical temples where you'll need to master the art of movement to survive increasingly difficult 3D platforming challenges. Often being compared to that of Zelda and Hollow Knight, slash your way through daunting adversaries, roam across mysterious and abandoned regions, lead through deadly traps, and ultimately master the art of movement. While the combat is good, many fans of Blue Fire say that the exploration and the platforming are where Blue Fire really stands out. On average, Blue Fire takes about 10 to 13 hours to beat, and at the time of me recording it's currently on sale on the eShop for about $7 until October 6th. So if you're looking for a new 3D platformer with some Soul-like elements attached, maybe check this one out. Sticking with platformers but moving over to 2D, we have Flynn, Son of Crimson. Like I said, Flynn, Son of Crimson is an action platformer developed by Studio Thunderhorse and published by Humble Games. The game follows a young boy named Flynn who embarks on a journey of discovery and conflict alongside his animal companion Dex as he learns to master his powers. Flynn and Dex must save Rozantika before the evil from the Scourge claims his home. When it comes to gameplay, Son of Crimson features fast-paced combat with a wealth of hard-hitting attack combos. There are over 40 unique stages, each with varying challenges and mechanics. Players can collect gems to unlock and upgrade new skills to accommodate their playstyle. In most stages, players encounter many different enemies including carnivorous plants, goblins, rabid wolves, and giant insects. Many bosses and tougher enemies soon enter the stage in the form of environment-specific knights and Scourge Knights. Along with close-range melee combat, players are introduced to ranged magic fireballs very early on, which can provide an alternative way to defeat some enemies at a safe distance. Ranged magic is unlimited but is considerably weaker than close-range combat. Flynn eventually gains access to a charged version of ranged magic, with players holding the button to charge up a more powerful shot, releasing it at an opportune moment. Charged magic is also upgraded with elemental effects including ice, electric, and fire. Even though it's a little bit on the short side with an average playtime of 6 hours, the game is regularly on sale for about $10, so not too bad I guess. While not adding anything new to the genre, if you're in the market for a fast-paced action game that won't take up too much of your time, Flynn, Son of Crimson is absolutely worth a consideration. At number 8, we have Puyo Puyo Tetris 2. A sequel to the original Puyo Puyo Tetris, this game was released onto the Switch in December of 2020 and was developed by Sonic Team and published by Sega. Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 revolves around two different gameplay styles of the Puyo Puyo and Tetris series respectively. Players can choose between Puyo style, which involves arranging colored blobs and matching them together instead of combo chains, and the Tetris style we all know. Players compete against each other with the style of their choosing with the aim of sending garbage to their opponents, causing their playfield to overflow and eliminating them. It's actually kind of funny because I'm recommending two, but I currently own the first one. But the reason I'm recommending the second one is because it's pretty much an upgrade in every single way. Some of the new features include dual audio, improved modes such as online and adventure, and even an additional mode called skill battle. Also, Sonic's in the game. I'm not sure why, but he's there. Also, speaking of the online mode, while it's been improved compared to the first game, I've heard a lot of people say that the online population is all but dead. At least on PC, I think it's a little bit better on Switch. Granted, when I'm recommending a game, I'm usually referring more to the single player components, but if you're planning to play a lot online, just keep that in mind before you make a purchase. Like I said earlier, if you're already on the first one, it's kind of hard to recommend this, but if you don't have either, then Puyo Puyo Tetris is a perfect entry point to this fun and addicting series. Next up, we have Metro Redux. Released on the Switch in 2020, this game is a post-apocalyptic first-person shooter and a two-part remake of Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light, which are the first two games of the Metro series. While Metro Last Light Redux includes general improvements, Metro 2033 Redux has been completely remade in the Last Light engine and updated to include the same features as Metro Last Light. While I haven't finished either game, the thing I like the most is how immersed I feel while playing. It was recommended by many to play the game with the native Russian language, and while it took some time to get used to, I'm glad I did. Add on to that the apocalyptic atmosphere of the games and having limited ammunition really increased the overall tension as well as enjoyment, especially with headphones. Between the two games, you're looking at about 17 to 50 plus hours of content depending on how much you want to do. Also, unlike other games on this list, this 2-game bundle is only available physically on the Switch. You can buy Metro 2033 Redux and Metro Last Light Redux digitally, and honestly, if you can catch them on sale, you might be better off doing that as it's way cheaper. But I know some people love physical copies, so I figured I'd mention both. I normally don't recommend shooters because my audience is more into RPGs, but I love story-driven games that really emphasize tension and immersion, and if you're like me, Metro Redux definitely fits that bill. At number 6 we have Thronebreaker: The Witcher Tales. The game is an RPG set in the world of The Witcher that combines narrative-driven exploration with unique puzzles and card battle mechanics. In Thronebreaker, you take the control of Queen Maeve, the ruler of Lyria and Rivia, during the events that precede the Witcher video game. As the leader of one of the northern kingdoms, Maeve leads a small opposition force who must battle and build alliances to take the north back. The game has a system of choices and consequences that will shift the story in different directions or affect the gameplay. The game world consists of 5 regions never explored in the Witcher franchise before, and exploration happens across a number of large maps with an isometric perspective similar to Baldur's Gate. Queen Maeve's army is represented by a customizable deck of cards, and combat takes place in matches similar to Gwent, but with a few differences. For those unfamiliar with Gwent, each player takes a turn to play a single card from their hand or pass it in their turn. Different cards have different values, some have special abilities that interact in many ways. Whoever has the highest total value on the board after both players hit pass wins the round. After a single round, all played cards are discarded and new cards are drawn instead. The goal is to win 2 of the 3 rounds. While I'm personally a big fan of card games and Gwent specifically, I think the story is worth buying the game even if you didn't. I love choice-based games, and the fact that they mixed that into a card game is really impressive. If you don't like card games or you haven't tried them before, don't worry, because there's an easy mode you can play if you want to just get used to the gameplay or just enjoy the story. One of the common criticisms this game has gotten was that some card battles or puzzles were very difficult compared to others, especially later on into the game. I believe developers have fixed some of these, but you can always use that easy mode like I just mentioned. I just figured I'd warn people who wanted to play on harder difficulties. If you're a fan of the Witcher series or the Gwent PC game, then this is a no-brainer. But for the rest of you, Thronebreaker does a lot of things very well. If you're a fan of puzzles or you just want a good story to play through, I think you might enjoy it. Kicking off the top 5, we have Sakuna of Rice and Ruin. This JRPG was published by Marvelous and Xseed and combines farm simulation with fluid 2D combat. Players control the goddess Princess Sakuna, who is tasked with exploring the Isle of Demons and clearing it out of monsters while also looking after a small group of humans. The game is split between 2 separate gameplay styles: side-scrolling hack-and-slash platforming levels that are gradually revealed on a map of the island as players complete objectives, and a farming simulator where the player must grow rice in a small paddy in a hamlet where Sakuna and the humans live. The side-scrolling levels employ a 2.5D perspective, while exploring the hamlet and most rice farming tasks are done using a third-person perspective from behind the player. As far as playtime goes, you're looking at about 30 hours of content, or up to 50 if you want to 100% the game. And if you prefer digital, the game goes on sale on the eShop about every other month for under $20. While I don't hate farming sims, I'm mostly interested in this game for the combat. But whether you're looking for an action RPG or a farming sim, Sakuna of Rice and Ruin is an amazing dual threat. Next up, we have Monster Sanctuary. Coming out on the Switch, I believe in 2020, Monster Sanctuary is a pixel art monster collecting game featuring Metroidvania-like side view visuals, exploration, and challenging turn-based combat. Monster Sanctuary is a land where monster keepers live in harmony with monsters they raise, but the arrival of unusually powerful monsters has broken the peace among the land. Join one of the monster keepers on his journey as he tries to unravel this mystery. When it comes to combat, utilize an integrated combo system and unique skill trees while exploiting enemy weaknesses to defeat your foes. Play strategically to earn rewards for efficient combat completion. After defeating enemies, there's a chance for a monster egg to drop. Hatch the egg to increase the size of your party. Creating a versatile team allows you to adapt to changing enemies and develop unique playstyles. Outside of combat, specific monsters possess abilities to open new areas for the player to explore. One of the things I liked the most about this game was how each monster essentially had their own skill tree to use. With one of my monsters, I prioritized speed and attacking, and with another one, I made sure he could eat hits and give stat buffs. Unlike other monster collecting games, those individual skills really made me feel like I was creating a balanced team. And even though I personally don't like the Metroidvania aspect because I hate backtracking, the gameplay was so fun that I didn't really mind it. What's actually funny is that I thought I owned this game because I vividly remember playing it, but it turns out that I was actually on Game Pass. And since I don't have Game Pass anymore, I'm going to pick Monster Sanctuary up real soon, and if you ever wanted a Pokemon Castlevania crossover game, I think you should pick it up too. At number 3, we have Nobody Saves the World. This action RPG was developed and published by Drinkbox Studios and released on the Switch in April of last year. In the game, the player controls a blank slate character named Nobody who is equipped with a wand. The wand allows them to transform into 18 forms such as magicians, robots, and dragons. Each form has 2 basic skills at the beginning of the game, though as players progress, new abilities will be unlocked. As players explore the overworld and dungeons, players need to complete quests and gameplay objectives in order to earn experience for upgrades and Star, a currency which is used to unlock the legendary dungeons featured in the game. These dungeons are filled with enemies and traps, though players may also find treasure chests and hidden keys if they explore the area thoroughly. In each of the game's dungeons, the only respawn point is located in the area where the player is about to encounter an enemy boss. I think I just mentioned this in the previous game, but if there's one thing you need to know about me, I hate dungeons. I hate backtracking, I hate having to fight the same enemy 25,000 times, I hate all of it. But the combat in this game was so good that I could overlook it. I think what helped keep the combat fun was all of the different characters you could fight as. The rat specializes in poison, the ranger is good for long range, and the guard is good for fighting up and close. Most of the characters I played with so far were fun, but once you find the character that fits your playstyle, the combat is even better. I heard it's best to level everyone up evenly, so maybe don't stick with one character though. Similar to Monster Sanctuary, I played this game on Game Pass and don't actually own it, so I'll probably get it on the Switch soon, or my Steam Deck, not sure yet. The Steam Deck is awesome by the way, in case you're wondering. Playing Baldur's Gate 3 on a handheld is a godsend. But I digress. Nobody Saved the World's gameplay, art style, and humor did something only a few games have done, which is make me enjoy a dungeon crawler. So if someone who borderline hates the genre enjoyed the game, I'm positive you'll have a good time with it too. Just missing out on that top spot, we have Valkyria Chronicles. This tactical RPG was originally published by Sega for the PS3 in 2008 and eventually came to the Switch in 2018. Set in a fictitious continent reminiscent of the 1930s, Valkyria Chronicles depicts Europa, divided and ruled by 2 superpowers, the Empire and the Federation. The Empire has set its sights on invading the Principality Gallia, which shares its borders with the 2 superpowers, in an attempt to secure an invaluable natural resource, Ragnite. Within this struggle, a hero named Welkin and his fellow soldiers of the Gallian militia, Squad 7, are fighting back against the invasion and the Empire's attempts to unify the continent under its power. Valkyria Chronicles features a unique turn-based system called Blitz, which stands for Battle of Live Tactical Zones. Between turns, the players view an overhead map in command mode, but zooms in to control each individual unit of the battlefield during action mode. Movement and other actions are handled in real time during action mode, though limited by an action point gauge that varies for each character. During target mode, the player is in direct control of character's aim while the action freezes, allowing for headshots and other maneuvers. Taking command of individual units during the player's phase costs command points, which can be used to either grant movement to many different units or the same unit consecutively with diminishing AP depending on what the player wants to accomplish. To get through the main campaign is going to take you about 30 hours, plus the game is always on sale for like $6, which is honestly a steal if you ask me. Ever since I played Fire Emblem Three Houses back in 2019, I've really gotten into the strategy tactical RPG genre. Creating a balanced army, planning out your moves, and trying to be 3 steps ahead of the enemy is all very satisfying. Even with being a little bit dated, Valkyria Chronicles really gives me that same level of satisfaction. And at number 1, we have what I believe to be the most recent game on this list, Chained Echoes. Released on December 8th of last year, Chained Echoes is an RPG created by Matthias Linde and published by Deck 13. Unlike most older RPGs that feature random encounters, enemies are visible on the map and trigger encounters on the screen, similar to Chrono Trigger. Battles are turn-based and each character in the player's party has a standard attack, several special abilities, items, and a defensive stance. In combat, party members use attacks and abilities that raise the overdrive meter, which reaches an optimal green zone where abilities are more effective. However, the overdrive meter can overheat, and the players must discharge some of the excess by using specific abilities, such as defenses and ultra moves. I'm not sure if it's in other games, but the overdrive meter is probably one of the best mechanics I've ever experienced in a game, let alone an RPG. It adds an extra level of thinking to your moves because you want to stay consistently in the green zone, and because of that, you have to strategize your moves. It's like having an extra battle during battle, which really helps keep the game from feeling repetitive, at least for me. While the release date for this game is kinda early to be calling it a hidden gem, I feel like it just came and went without a lot of attention drawn to it, at least not the amount I think it deserves. I remember Fire Emblem Engage coming out around the time because I bought it, and I think some other notable RPGs are released around that window. That plus people's never-ending backlog, I feel like this game either got ignored by people or just tossed on people's wish list. Either way, this game was developed by one guy and was inspired from games like Xenogears, Secret of Mana, Suikoden, and Final Fantasy. Chained Echoes was made by and for fans of RPGs, and if you fall into that camp, or even if you don't, this is the hidden gem on this list that you can't afford to pass up. Okay, that's all I got for you today. What hidden gems for the Switch do you recommend? Or just Switch games in general? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. If you want to see the other videos in this hidden gem series, the playlist will be in the description or click one of the links on the screen. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with the channel. Later.